Well, hello everyone and welcome back to another video of some F1 2021 game ideas. Today we're going to be looking at R&D in specifically 6 things that I think that Codemasters need to change to the F1 game for 2021, or add rather really as well, to make, obviously we're going on to next gen, so it's important that we get these things done to make the game mode more add more depth to the game mode really, in terms of R&D, and also to make sure that there's a less chance of you spoiling your career mode through R&D when you have an absolutely maxed out car compared to everyone else through the resets. But yes, if you're going to enjoy this video, then leave likes. Also, please do subscribe if you are new. We're currently on 233 subscribers, so thank you if you already have subscribed. We're aiming for 250 subscribers by the end of the year, so we're almost there. But yes, let's get started. We're going to go into HQ upgrades. I sort of touched on HQ upgrades and how they should really look in last week's video. This week we're going to talk about how they're going to affect R&D. And really the HQ upgrades, specifically with R&D, shouldn't really be allowed to max out until you get to Season 5, maybe. Season 6, so at least you're halfway through. And then obviously they should at least have 5 levels of upgrades, and 5 tiers, and also more to upgrade. So you've only got 4 things to upgrade at the moment. They should at least expand on that, so you've probably got like 6 things to upgrade. So then you're pretty much then doubling the amount of upgrades you've got to do, which will which will entice the player to play more. I mean, considering the fact that HQ upgrades in my Red Bull career mode, driver career mode, were pretty much already maxed out at the start of Season 3. And that's considering the fact they didn't upgrade pretty much nothing for the entirety of Season 2. So I know it's ridiculous how quickly you can upgrade, especially also in my team, where as you go through Season 2 you just get so much money from the sponsors. It's ridiculous. And that's also what comes into the next point. R&D point regeneration. Why is this an upgrade? It should not be an upgrade. There should be a thing where the more HQ upgrades you have, the more cost, the more R&D points you get, but the larger the cost of the R&D points. And also there should be some coefficient that means that if you are, depending on where you are on the performance graph, R&D points, R&D parts should cost more. Like, now they've already sort of factored this in, because in my Red Bull driver career mode the parts cost double compared to my team, but that's not really the case. That's sort of a car specific thing. It's not really relevant to where you are on the performance index, so that definitely needs to have a look at. Now, number 3, R&D needs more depth. I'm not saying this because the tree is getting a bit stale. It needs to be refreshed, obviously. I haven't really got any ideas on how they should refresh it, other than through the resets, which I'll come on in just in a moment. But it needs more depth. I don't want to be getting to ultimate upgrades until Season 5, at the minimum, without any resets or regulation changes. That should be the minimum where you get to the end of the R&D tree, because at the moment I'm almost at the end of the R&D tree. You can get to the R&D tree at the end by Season 3, and I've got to think that nobody at Codemasters has actually tested the game beyond Season 2, which is ridiculous. So if anybody from Codemasters is actually watching, when you do your testing for F1 2021, make sure that you go and simulate till Season 7. Yes, it's a pain to simulate. I know your pain. I've done simulating seasons. It is painful, get them to code in a calendar like they do in FIFA, which means you can simulate to a certain date and not have to go to every single Grand Prix, which is pretty much ridiculous. So, but yes, the R&D definitely needs more depth, and they need to add more parts to it. I like the fact that you can rush an upgrade. I think that's good, but it just needs a bit of more of a rethink about how each tree works with the upgrades as well, and also the fact that it just needs a bit. We just need more on there, so it takes you longer to reach those ultimate upgrades, which shouldn't really be getting to until you're put at the most approaching halfway through, and then obviously you've got R&D regulation changes, which then entices the player to build that up again. And that's sort of where I'm going to touch on next with R&D regulation changes. I don't think that they should allow you to have these reset things. I think that the tree where your little section should just be complete, whichever section is changed, be it like aero, engine, chassis or durability. I mean, durability really should be reset at the end of the year anyway, end of every season. I know that means that ultimate durability upgrades, which are a pain, will probably not ever get done. So again, durability, there needs to be some sort of reset there every season, because the durability, even if you are maxed out, obviously you still get yourself to failures. And not only that, I think the durability needs to be a bit worked on, because they've tried to make it look like its own department, and it really doesn't need to be that. There doesn't need to be that much depth to durability, unlike to the other departments. And then just reset it at the end of every year. So obviously, as you go through the season, you're going to have more and more mileage on the cars, but at the same time, do teams actually do durability upgrades? I mean, I suppose they do. They may be able to refactor the engine coils or do something with it to make it more durable. But at the same time, the durability side of the R&D tree could be factored into the engine side. And I think also just take the durability out of the equation, the performance graph, because it doesn't really affect it. It's not really affected. The performance graph should be based on how fast your engine is, how light your chassis is, and how much aero, how good your drag, how much drag you've got on the car. Basically, those three factors. It should not be factored on any of the other parts of the R&D tree. But yes, with the regulation changes, it should just, instead of getting you having to adapt parts, you should just get an entirely new bit of the tree, and you'd obviously click your part on the tree, and then it will have the new part of that tree factor in. Obviously, still be able to access the existing one should you wish to upgrade before the end of the season. But that to me would be where that needs to go, really. Right, the Ultimate 2 are really down to more my team really than Driver Career Mode. It's something that was mentioned in the comments below last week, and obviously be able to build and sell your own engine, which is touching on something that I did last year with customer teams be able to change engine suppliers. Now, I'm also going to say this: when you change your engine supplier in my team, the engine side of that tree should change with it, and there should be a completely new parts of it. And also, you should just get the base parts. So obviously, you put the parts on the parts that are specific to your engine. Should obviously only really apply to your previous engine. They shouldn't be unless it's to do with like fuel or something. The stuff that's to do with engine power should be altered. Now, whether or not that the custom teams, the engine supplier supplies you with an upgrade that you've already done for more money. Again, we'll come back to that later on in the sponsors and interviews. The claim and contracts video, which should be out next Friday. But there just needs to be more with this, and being able to build and sell your own engine as well, so you'll be able to compete and maybe get a fictional engine supplier or team, even with a team with an engine in it, and be able to compete with it. That what I think we need to see is Dad Butler trying to sell teams an engine. That's, I think, what could be built. That's where I think the future is with the story mode coming into my team. He's obviously got his own team as well. Maybe so you come in with him. Lucas Weber maybe will be your first teammate in your my team career mode. Again, they can factor in Formula 2 like I have done in my team career mode. They should have the option for that as well. But yes, being able to build or sell your own engine, and also maybe some other parts as well, like a gearbox, maybe the electronic stuff that you can actually sell that you don't have to do. A little bit like what Haas do with Ferrari, where they buy all the parts from Ferrari apart from the stuff that they have to make themselves, which is the chassis, which brings me on to the final part, which is to be able to design your own chassis, which is sort of to give you, like, be able to pick a front wing, be able to choose whether to have a narrower or wider parts to the chassis, designing the aeroflux, and obviously there's going to have to be a cost part to this. So obviously you're going to have a budget, which obviously is going to be affected by how many parts, and obviously you've got to balance the budget compared with the performance of your car, which obviously on a lower budget you won't be able to design as much and pay for the better parts to be applied to your car, stuff like that. And then obviously you could also maybe get buy parts from other companies that are not in Formula 1, like Dallara is a prime example of that, where I think it was it HRT who pretty much just bought their chassis from Dallara for the entire 3 years. So you maybe not be able to buy all the parts, but maybe like a sort of, I don't know, like a crossover between Forza Horizon and Need for Speed, where you sort of cross-match that and you just buy parts for your car. Yes, that's going to be it for this video. If you've got anything that you want to add, then let me know in the comments below. If you're new around here, then please do subscribe for weekly Formula 1 content. But yes, I'm going to leave it there. Hope you have enjoyed, and I'll see you next time. Take care, thanks so much for watching, enjoy your day, and goodbye.